engines now beginning to fire up, and we're getting ready for the warm-up lap to get everything underway here. And we shall see whether they are going to be able to put together a fun race to end this first day here of the 81st members meeting. I think this could be very exciting. It's a 45-minute race, 2-driver race, and of course there will be driver swaps. There'll be a time when the pit lane opens, so they've got to go into the race for quite a while before the pit lane opens and they can swap over. Away they go on the warm-up lap then, and Timo Bernhard is the man who's going to be starting. Alongside, it's Jack Young who's starting in the Chevy Camaro, Rick Wood then starting in the Ford Capri, Dario Franchitti, he's starting from the second row in one of the Chevys. Funnily enough, the two Franchittis in theory together on the grid. Alice Powell joins me, but Alice, I noticed that Marino's starting this race, but Dario, his brother, is not, so it's not quite so the two Franchittis are going up against each other here.
I know, I wonder if that was a family decision or not, whether they said, no, we're not having you two starting next to each other, but this is going to be an incredible race. So those watching at home, I hope you've got your Saturday evening tipple, because this is going to be a good one.
It really is, yeah, looking at the lineup here, and there's that order that we've got, and watch out for Jake Hill, who will be taking over that Ford Capri starting in third place. But I tell you what, Tino Bernhard and Fred Shepherd with that Ford Mustang Boss that's on pole, it was very rapid in qualifying. And then you've got the Chevy Camaros behind, and then some of the Rovers getting in there. The Rover of Whitaker and Tom Ingram are starting in 7th position. Another star, or a couple of star touring car drivers, Rob Huff, Andrew Jordan, they're in Ford Capris during this race that start from the 5th row of the grid. And then some more further down. We've got Escort RS2000, that's lovely to see, and the Mini 1275 GTs, the Nick Swift, Alex Buncombe car, that's 14th on the grid, and ahead of quite a few of much more powerful machines, as you can see, ahead of BMW, and sadly the Mazda RX-7 that was due to start 18th, be pushed into the pit lane. Whether it gets started from the pit lane is another question. It might do, I suppose. Stig Blomqvist is racing this weekend as well in one of the Ford Capris. That car starting down in 19th place for this one. And then further down, Jamie Chadwick will be doing her first race at Goodwood in the Rover. Further down the list, she actually is doing the start as well. So Jamie's in the car, that Rover 3.5 SD1. And further down, Emanuele Pirro, who was out on a motorbike earlier, he's going to be competing in a Ford Capri. It's a lovely mix. It's a real... we're really looking forward to this, aren't we?
We are, and we've got a good fight, of course, at the front. We've got a whole range of VIP, that we've been told to call them, drivers, pro drivers that have won numerous races in all different kinds of categories, championships, British champions, we've got world champions here as well. And I think that just adds to the Gordon Spice Trophy, how special it is. But also, you don't see this anywhere else, only at Goodwood.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a unique kind of situation, and the cars are now heading onto the grid. So we are getting ready for the start of what could be a very competitive race. And it's a sort of race, because you've got two different drivers. You've got the entrant and then a star driver. And we really do have a number of star drivers, champions from all different forms of motorsport, whether it's touring cars or racing in Indy or sports cars, XF1 drivers as well. We've got a real mix. So what you see in the first part of the race, not necessarily what you're going to see in the second part. And also, if we get a red flag or if we have to have yellows, that can make a big difference as well. Let's look forward to it then. The Gordon Spice Trophy all set to get underway here at Goodwood. The race is underway, and it's a good start from Timo Bernhard. Excellent getaway. I think he's managed to just about make the start. Not such a brilliant start from Rick Wood in the Capri, but it was a pretty impressive start from James Thorpe in the Chevy Camaro, because started down in 6th place, got up into 2nd position. Fantastic.
Yeah, excellent. Great for them all to avoid. We've got them all heading down now into Fordwater, then into St Mary's, all keeping it nice and clean. It's a 45-minute race, so they need to make sure they stay as close to the leading pack as possible, and everyone seems to be doing that quite nicely at the moment.
Timo Bernhard then, who's not done a lot of racing around the Goodwood track, but really getting into gear straight away, doing a good job out in front. The top three pulling away a little bit. It's all the powerful American machines, the Mustang and 2 Chevy Camaros. Then the Capri of Rick Wood is leading the next group, as you can see, and they're all battling for position. And then we've got the Mini. Nice to see the Mini as far up as it is there after a very, very good start. I think it's the Alex Buncombe Nick Swift car that's so far up as we get this race truly underway now. And still, Timo Bernhard, who started from that pole position that was earned by the driver who will be taking over later, Fred Shepherd. There's a bit of movement as they head down towards Woodcote Corner. Thankfully, they're keeping it clean so far.
Yeah, nicely done. Nicely, a great big packed grandstand as well. How long are the tie barriers going to last on the inside there? Been repaired numerous times. This weekend we've got some side-by-side action there. The BMW just ahead of this pack, and the gap at the front between the number 17, the Bernhard car, and the 31 of Thorpe is just over 1 second, Ben. So he's managed to eke out a tiny bit of a gap at the moment.
Jack Young, the number 7 Chevy Camaro, just saw it a moment ago. As we are looking here at, it does look like Rick Wood's going to lose another position potentially there. Yeah, he is losing it to the Michael Whittaker coming through with the Rover SD1, and then some on-track action as well that we can get to see as well. Exciting stuff as they're coming through, but can there be a change in this early stages? I did hear someone was just coming into the pits then, but hopefully we won't have too many problems down towards the van corner, and Rick Wood definitely having missed out a little bit, but there's every chance when Jake Hill takes over that car that it's going to gain a lot of places. He gets a bit sideways. Getting
ever so sideways. So obviously a car in the pits at the moment, that is the Cook and Green car, so unfortunate for them, pit window opens between 15 and 30 minutes. So we've got a little while to wait until it gets very busy in this very tight pit lane. But just to watch out, the Davison Sutton car is setting purple sectors on the timing screen, so storming through at the moment, but it's all close at the front.
It certainly is, and you're watching Marino Franchitti, and Marino is trying to get past Rick Wood in the Capri. So the onboard camera here with Rick Wood and Marino Franchitti, who's sharing with Ollie Bryan, so that's an important one. Meanwhile, James Cottingham in the number 5 machine, down in 3rd place, but battling hard at this stage with the James Thorpe machine. So the Camaros are really having a good side-by-side battle, but it is the Ford Mustang Boss 302 of Timo Bernhard that has got the advantage up front at this stage. Meanwhile, all trying to come through, Marino Franchitti. I think he's going to get the chance this time as we ride on board with Rick Wood. Yeah, Marino Franchitti has squeezed past the Capri, pushed him down another place, but there's still a long, long way to go in this race.
Yeah, there is. Rick Wood casually adjusting his helmet as he had Franchitti going down the inside of him there. But just looking, it is the gap's not really changing at the front, but Cottingham is closing down on Thorpe. So 3/10 it was across the line. The gap may have opened up a little bit this lap, but that V8 Chevrolet of Cottingham is really trying to chase down the P2 car at the moment.
Yeah, and there's that side-by-side battle once again. This is great to see, no doubt about it. James Cottingham just at the moment managing to hold on to that position. James Thorpe right behind and trying to squeeze past, but yeah, that has been a swap around, so we shall see how this goes. Cottingham into 2nd place now, having been in 3rd, so Cottingham's got that 2nd, Thorpe down to 3rd, and then in 4th position we've got Craig Davis in another of the Ford Mustangs. So we're really splitting up the Mustangs and the Chevy Camaros. Mustangs 1st and 4th at the moment, with the Chevys in the 2nd and 3rd places in between. So the Bastos sponsor number 5, that is the Chevy Camaro that Dario Franchitti will be driving later in this race. And the number 31 car, that's the one that Andy Prio will be taking over. They are both house captains, looking for as many points in their respective houses. So it's important that these cars are running so well in the early stage of the race. Timo Bernhard just sliding around a bit more now. He's bumping under pressure, isn't he, in that lead position?
Yeah, it's soon, and just looking at the second times, it's the Thorpe car that now has set the fastest first sector, but keep an eye on the Davis car as well. It's fastest lap previous time round, so it is bunching up. Some people maybe just adjusting to the car, adjusting to the conditions. Obviously their practice was much earlier on, but we've got the giant, the great mighty Mini having a good look at the rear there as they're heading down now into Woodcote.
There's Nick Swift in the Mini. He's a real star with the Mini, he always is, but it's always wonderful. He's sharing with Alex Buncombe. Nick has started the race, but when you see them battling with the likes of the Capris, that's always such a joy. So no change up front. It's still that same order at the moment. Timo Bernhard has the advantage, but the gap only 0.6 of a second back to James Cottingham. And then this group of 4 cars really in an excellent position right now, ahead of the next sort of group of cars. In fact, there's been a change there because, the number 15 has got up. So the Mustangs got past the Chevy there, so Craig Davis has gained third place now. So you've now got Mustang, Chevy, and then another Mustang and a Chevy. That's our top 4. So they're still swapping around each other at this stage. 5th place right now is the number 7 machine. That's the Gordon Shedden Jack Young car.
Look at that shot. This is the top 4 separated by 0.2 of a second, and they are often swapping best sectors between this group of cars. Any small mistake, which when you're hustling these incredible beasts around this fabulous, fast-flowing circuit, it can be easy. And then that's it. You drop to the back of the pack, and it's all about trying to keep the momentum. As there's a little bit of a move, a little bit of a look for Davis as he's heading down into Woodcote Corner. Real tricky, especially in one of these beasts. Any normal high downforce car, and it's tricky, but manages to keep it behind for now. But I'll have a look, I'm sure, heading up through out of the chicane, but he's going to be under pressure by the 31 car.
Yeah, this is going to be tight once again, isn't it? And all 4 are still battling away. Timo Bernhard is just about controlling the 0.9 of a second this time, the gap back to Cottingham, but Craig Davis is doing a fantastic job in 3rd place currently. Let's have a look, and he's being put under threat once more. We could see a change between these 2. Now let's just have a look at the start once again, Salis. This was a good start by the pole man.
Yeah, really good.
Terrible
really good start. It was, and actually a few terrible starts down the order.
That was Marino, I think, who had the bad start.
Yes, it did look like that, but it was good that everyone avoided contact and managed to filter their way through in a tricky lap as Bernhard gets ever so close to touching the grass there. I think actually he might have touched it, kicked up a little bit, and that now allows the Cottingham car to draw right up to the back of him as they're sliding their way through Levant Corner. I just love watching these shots. Not only if we've got some fantastic drivers racing, but it's the car control behind the wheels, and we've got the 63 Mini, which is having an attack there on the Marlborough car. Yeah,
Jamie Chadwick's in the number 18. She's definitely under a bit of threat right now from Matt Neal. So the great touring car, British touring car, multiple champion Matt Neal. He's in that little Mini, number 63, and he's up against Jamie Chadwick, who's not raced here at Goodwood in the past. She's done the Festival of Speed. She's racing in America at the moment, and a multiple W Series champion, of course. You've raced against her many times, Alice. She's really adapted to a very different style of car, isn't she? Yeah, I saw Jamie earlier on, and she was saying, yeah, this is certainly different. As you said, her first time here racing on this Goodwood circuit, and I think she's doing a great job. Slotted in nicely, stretched the legs there on the Matt Neal. How does Matt Neal fit in that tiny Mini? And I'd love to know. He's probably nearly He's a tall chap, isn't he? He's a tall chap, yeah. And he's squeezed into the Mini, and he's loving it. He's having a wonderful time. That's lovely to see. Simon Evans was part of that little group as well in the Capri that he is sharing with Andy Jordan. But the top 4 still close. The top 2 have made a little bit of a break. James Cottingham is in 2nd place, now slightly further ahead of Craig Davis. And Davis actually under a bit of threat this time from James Thorpe, number 31 there, because he seems a bit sideways. Bit of oversteer there, wasn't there? Yeah, there was. It has filtered out. It has calmed down at the front now. But the gaps between, let's say, the first and second, fairly similar. And then the gap between third and second is a little bit bigger as the BMW, fantastic livery on that car. This is a great battle further down the pack.
ever so close. Do they make it through without contact? Yes, they do. We've chucked another Mini in there. The Duckham's Mini is trying to try its luck around the outside. Might struggle down the straight, try and get in the slipstream as it can as they head down this very long, slightly uphill Levant straight, and then they'll jump on the brakes into Woodcote.
There has been a change for third place. The car that Thornton Prio is sharing has now moved up into third. Oh, the BMW and the RS2000 are actually touching sides as they come down into Levant. Thankfully, there was no actual incident between them, but that was all a little bit scary. Thankfully, they managed to sort themselves out. Kerry Michael in the Escort. So, yeah, that was all getting a little bit too tight, but thankfully they sorted themselves out. Let's hope they can keep it clean. The number 8, Capri, Mike Whitaker, at the wheel of that right now, and he is running in 10th position, being chased all the way down the hill by a real mix of wonderful machines. But yes, that RS2000 Escort is still under pressure. Kerry Michael coming under a bit more threat once again from the BMW. And it's the only BMW we've got in this race. It's being shared by James Tadler and Nicholas Padmore, and it's going around the outside. Nick Padmore has made the move. Lovely move there. Yeah,
and the Ford Escort, I thought that was it. I thought it was going to go round. Now the Mini's going to try and slide up the inside, heading up the straight into Levant corner. Be brave to go around the outside there, but he's giving it a go. Does he make it stick? Yes, great move by the number 60. The Buncombe and Swift car. That was brave stuff there, Ben.
Yeah, Nick Swift's in the car at the moment, and he really made that work extremely well. But when you're into straight line speed again, of course, he's at a disadvantage, and the RS2000 is now coming back past the Mini. But this is what you see all the time, and I love seeing it. And you see how late the Mini can brake, for example, as they come down into Levant. Always closes right up again. Yep, they are. They're all three absolutely together now.
That is just brilliant views, brilliant stuff as well, and that's going to be very brave to go around the outside of the first part of the chicane there. Of course, thinks better of it, trying to get in the toe, desperately trying to aid its straight line speed, but we haven't got very long, just over 2 minutes time, Ben, until the chaos will start down in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's when the pit lane is open for the driver swaps to begin. They don't have to go in straight away, but that is when they can first go in. In half an hour to go, so let's see how that all works out. And what you will see, I think, is this the blue and white Ford Capri. You will see that coming in pretty much straight away, because Rick will want to hand over to Jake Hill, because he knows what Jake can do with that car. Jake absolutely loves that Capri, and he wants to be out there for as long as possible to see how much how many places he can possibly gain in the next part of the race. So we shall see. The other Capri there is of Mike Whitaker, but it's gone through. So Mike Whitaker's made a pretty decent move there.
Yeah, very good. Rick Wood, you can see, great onboard, constantly fighting the rear of that car. This car has competed every members' meeting, so the car certainly knows its way around here. He's having a little look going up the straight into Woodcote corner. No room there. I want to keep it on the black stuff. Of course, lost a number of places from starting third on the grid, now down into 9th place. But like you said, I would expect this car to be coming in possibly next time round. 31 minutes remaining. Pit lane opens at 30, so this may be Rick's final lap before he goes to hand over to Jake.
Yeah, don't come in yet, guys, otherwise you'll get a penalty. That's good, they've stayed out. Meanwhile, Jamie Chadwick, number 18, the red and white Rover.
Older liveries.
Yeah, 2 minutes, that's right. The liveries of the old days, lovely to see, of course. But Jamie's got a fair bit of pressure there from the car right behind, the number 27 Escorts, and that is Lucky Christoforu, who is driving that at the moment. Look at this, we've got 4 cars virtually side by side down there, and we're back with the other RS2000 with Kerry Michael, who's at the front of that little pack at the moment. BMW trying to squeeze past Nick Padmore, who is very quick round Goodwood. He's got some great records here, record speeds around this track, and he's thoroughly enjoying driving this BMW, even if it might not be the fastest car, but I know he loves it.
The poor Mini desperately trying to make gains through the corners to give it any chance of keeping up down the straight, having a little look down the inside of the BMW there. No, thought better of it, and now, unfortunately, little Mini, you're going to have to try and hook a line to the back of these cars down the straight, because they will pull away ever so slightly. Pit window now is now open, Ben.
Okay, great. So we will start to see cars heading into the pits for driver swaps coming up now as we watch the Ford Capri. It is lovely to see these Capris. And when I was talking to Jake Hill about the handling of them, he says it just has such a natural feel to it. Really, really enjoys it. So number 21, Dario Franchitti, now handing over to Ollie Bryant. They're both very talented drivers. Ollie Bryant's had lots of success here at Goodwood over the years in all sorts of different categories, and it's lovely to see him, who will be heading out onto the track. And as we thought, Rick Wood is in straight away because he's handing over to Jake Hill. So here you have British Touring Car star, the man who's still looking for his first title win in the British Touring Cars, but he's going to have a real chance of it this year with the BMW. Let's see, but he's been fighting for the title for several years, always right up at the top end. He loves this car. He says it suits him so well. Let's see how he gets on with it.
Yeah, you can see it's a job to strap, and often get asked, well, why can't drivers strap themselves in it? You're very restricted with the hands device and helmet. Your vision is not the best when strapping yourself in, so much quicker job for someone else to do it for you. As now I'm looking out, I don't even have to look outside the commentary box window. We can see on our pictures here, we've got Tom Ingram on the right-hand side there waiting to hop in, and eagerly people rushing across the pit lane. And if everybody comes in at once, this pit lane's not long enough.
Yeah.
So you really have to try and time it right. Ash Sutton, now he's jumping in. He'll certainly be one to watch. Four-time British Touring Car champion will be fighting forward. The Davis car that did have the fastest lap of the race, just missed out now to the Bernard car, will be hoping to make gains further up the order. We've got a great battle on our hands for the win here.
We really have. You're absolutely right. But I have to say that Timo Bernhard did a great job of that first stint, and we know how fast Freddie Shepherd is in that car, so they've got a really good chance, there's no doubt about it. But as you say, anything can happen, and we'll just have to see how it all goes in the second part of this race now. We have just under 28 minutes to go to take us through to the all-important victory at the end of the Gordon Spice Trophy. And we've got a mixture of drivers coming back out. Some of the super talents. We've already had some super talents out there, of course, but now we've got others as well. And Ollie Bryant in the number 21 Chevy Camaro, definitely going to be part of that lead group, as we had seen. Looked like a pretty decent pit stop. And Ollie will be rapid, there's no doubt about it. Out in front at the moment, it is the number 31 machine that is leading, but into the pits it comes now. So this is the Andy Prio James Thorpe car that is now going to be swapped over.
Another fast driver taking over that car in Andy Prio, the team captain, of course, and three-time World Touring Car champion. But now, here's the pictures we want to see. Jake Hill hustling this Ford around this incredible circuit. And I can tell you that Ford's not going to be going in a straight line. He's often going to be sliding around the corners, hustling it. So here, at the moment, if we've got our leader currently on the track, the number 28 car, the Tetley and Kristensen car.
Yeah, no, that's right. This is the actual leader now. So we shall see how this goes. Jack Tetley and Tom Kristensen. Tom Kristensen, the driver, taking it on. And we shall see how this all works out by the end of this race, because it all takes a little bit of time to get resorted after the pit stop has been made. Pit window is still open, so some of them will be coming in a little bit later, of course, and that's what we will be seeing. So at the moment, running in second place, James Sadler, Nick Padmore BMW actually is now running a second, because that hasn't come into the pits as yet either. So this car hasn't come in yet. Oh, and we've got a car stopped at the side, one of the Capris. Is that when he was coming out of the pits, or
like
so
the number 20 car? The
number 20 Capri has got a problem. That's the Stig Blomqvist Nick Jarvis car. Oh, that's a great shame to see that's come to a halt on the exit of the pits. Oof, hopefully it can be well avoided. Right, now it looks like the race leader is now in. So Jack Tetley is going to be handing over to Tom Kristensen,
who casually walks around the side of the car. He's not yet in a rush. So already Jake Hill setting purple sectors down in 17th place. Obviously not his actual position, because we've still got drivers ahead that are yet to stop. But wow, we're looking at the shots of Tom sliding into the car.
Isn't it lovely? Yeah. 9-time Le Mans winner. We're watching him swapping into cars, which he's done all through his life so effectively. And they have to be in the pits for a certain time, so you can't just do the fastest. That's why it's relaxed, isn't it? Because it's not like you can do the pit stop as quick as you can. You have to be in the pits for a certain amount of time that everybody has to accept.
Yeah, exactly. I told you wouldn't be see Jake Hill going in a straight line very often. Sliding around the exit of St Mary's. Is that the number 10 car? Didn't quite see in front of him, so he'll be hoping to pass fairly quickly, but he slotted straight in, and already, as I said, setting purple sectors, so Jake will know that he needs to get on with it as quickly as he can with 24 minutes remaining of this race.
That's right, yeah, he's got plenty to do still, but let's see how far he can move up the order. We're still waiting for quite a few of the cars to make their pit stops, and at the moment he's way down the list, but he will start jumping up it fairly quickly, not just because he's overtaking, but because other cars are coming into the pits. Lovely use of the road, just out to the curb. You're on board with him now as we head down to first corner. Safety car is out, apparently. Pit window still open. Now, this could really benefit whoever stops now. This could make a complete change to the outcome of this race.
Yeah, everyone will have to slow down. We have got the safety car there. You can see the Porsche on track waiting for those to come round, and looks like there was movement from the car that was stopped on the side of the track, but there the marshals are coming out now, doing an incredible job as always. But like you said, Ben, this really benefits because everyone's going to cut their speed, so no one will be going at full racing speed. So if you are yet to pit, which at the current race leader, as I say, they've just come into the pits, was the Padmore and Sadler car, but it's the Davis and Sutton car.
Yeah, absolutely. If that comes in, they've actually left it a bit later than some of the others, I believe. So we shall wait and see if this is going to be a real gain for anyone who can make a pit stop now. If you haven't done it already, and you can do it now, then there's a real opportunity to make a big gain, because of course everyone else is having to go slowly, so the time you lose in the pits is a much lesser percentage of time lost than when you're doing it under full race speed.
I thought they pitted. Did they not pit? I thought that they had already come into the pit. Maybe I got that wrong, but according to our timing screens, they are yet to pit. But the back now of the safety car, and you can see Jake Hill constantly weaving to try and make sure he keeps tyre temperatures up. It's not too cold here, but the sun's certainly setting fairly quickly. As what a great addition is this drone. Brilliant shots.
Absolutely. But the fact actually that the leader car has been caught by the safety car, they've done a good job here by getting the safety car out at that point before it dived in. So actually it won't be able to gain quite as much, I think, as it would have done otherwise, is it? It's not going to work quite so well for them.
No, it's not, but they'll all have to obviously bunch. I can't imagine it's going to be a long safety car. Just having a look out the commentary box window, and I think actually the car has been removed, so I can imagine that maybe one more lap just to allow those who haven't pitted to pit, and then I expect we'll have racing going. And as I said that, there's another car further around the course somewhere. Is that the same? It's not the same one?
It's the other RS2000, isn't it? That's gone off, unfortunately. So that is a bit of a shame. I think
quite out the way though, so hopefully it won't affect anything, and they won't have to move that car, because it's been pulled out into a fairly safe place.
Yeah, when the safety car's out, they may decide that actually they will move it out. Let's wait and see, decide what they do. What this might help, of course, is someone like Jake Hill, because what it does is it will bring the pack together. So let's just have a look here. So this was the car that caused the safety car, wasn't it? Yeah, and it's still kind of going and then stopping. Presumably that is the car. Yeah,
it was.
Maybe it started from the pit lane again.
The 20, wasn't it? It was the Ronquist car. Yeah,
that's right. It is that machine. So we've got a few little issues, a few little problems going on. So. Oh, right, the pit lane is closed apparently while the safety car is out. Okay, it's just that on our board, on our timing board that's in front of us, it says pit window open. So we wondered if the pit window was they were still going to be allowed in, but actually, officially, they're not being allowed into the pits. You can see pit lane closed at this stage. So that advantage that you might get from making a pit stop is not out there. So the cars that you've got right up front at the moment the Craig Davis Ash Sutton car that's leading, not been able to make a pit stop yet. So that is obviously a bit of a problem for them. They will be allowed to. James Sadler and the Nicholas Padmore BMW is right up there, but that hasn't made its pit stop yet either. So this is going to change things around a bit. But as I mentioned, in a way this will help Jake Hill, although he's still quite a long way down the order, down in 13th position at this stage. And I do think that the Timo Bernhard and Freddie Shepherd car that was going so well early on, that's again in a very strong position because of the cars that have made their pit stops. It is effectively leading. It's in 3rd place overall, but effectively it is the leader of those that have made pit stops, and that is a good opportunity. So yeah, it's all looking good fun. There were some great battles in those early stages. James Thorpe was right in that lead group. Andy Prio's taken over his car, and Ed Foster's catching up with him.
James, what an absolutely cracking start you had. I mean, you rocketed right up from, I think, 6th into 2nd.
Yes, thank you. It was definitely more luck than judgment. And in fact, as I went past the cars, I looked and thought, have I jumped this? But no, it was a clean start.
And I mean, the rest of the opening stint seemed to go very well. I mean, you could throw a net over you.
Yeah, Craig came past me and James Cottingham came past me, and I managed to hang on to them. And yeah, fabulous race.
And now it's this horrible waiting game, isn't it? Because I think, are you 4th on the road? But I mean, you're right up there with the leaders. Andy's in the car.
Yes, I'm 4th on the road, and they've bunched up, so there's no gap there. And I'll just leave it to the professional to bring me a trophy.
Yes, absolutely no pressure. Although he'll never do a start as good as you.
I don't think I'll ever do a start as good as that ever again.
Well done, and good luck for the rest of it.
Thank you.
Well, the fun's are here, and the car's still following behind the safety car at this stage, and we shall see how this all works out once the safety car is released. But they are obviously sorting out some other issues for cars that have stopped out on track, get them cleared out of the way before we get the racing back in action once more, and we'll see how it all pans out at that stage. But it is the lights are on now, the sun beginning to set here at Goodwood as we go deep into the evening, and they can't race all night. There is a sort of deadline, but we're not into that yet. There's a good chance. They've got a 17.5 minutes, just under 17.5 minutes to go in this race. It's going to carry on another lap or so under safety car, but then hopefully we're going to get at least a quarter of an hour of some serious racing, hopefully once the safety car comes back in, and we'll get some battles back on the way. And yeah, it's going to be fun to see how this all works out. We can actually look back at some of the action that went on. So this was on board the Tom Kristensen Jack Tetley car. Jack was doing the start. What did you think of that, Alice?
Some great avoidance there of the slow Franchitti car, I think we said it was. And you can see Tetley just keeping a little bit. Oh!
Didn't know the Escort ended up on the grass.
Yeah, the Ford did a good save there, man. It looked like it had a brush of another car. But we'll be back underway very shortly because the safety car, it will be coming in at the end of this lap. So drivers will get ready, visors down, not that they need them down. Now the sun's gone back in. There you go, safety car lights are out. So it'll be Ash Sutton that will lead the cars around, and plenty of safety car restarts in touring cars and other Formula as well.
And as you say, we were a little confused because we do think that car did come in, but it's not being registered as having made the pit stop. So let's just see what happens when they come around this time, and then we can get our full order and see exactly where we're heading off. As the repeat, there are definitely not very many, but just a few cars that are due into the pits. Let's see as the race is all set to get back underway once again. Down into the chicane they will come, and then hard on the throttle and get the race back underway. We have just over 15 minutes to go, and sure enough, actually it's saying pit lane's still closed at the moment, interestingly, so they still can't come in. But we shall see how this all works out. There's some big battles going on further back from cars that definitely have stopped. And in the middle there, number 17, that is a key vehicle because that is definitely in a good position. Freddie Shepherd, who set the fastest time in qualifying, now getting through some of these cars. That BMW has not yet stopped. The number 25 BMW, which is well up on the order, hasn't stopped. And meanwhile, Jake Hill is going to have a really good chance to gain some big places on this restart.
Yeah, just got to try and make sure he keeps out of trouble, which is much easier said than done. Looking down the inside there, going into St Mary's, you can see just casually drifting. Looks so casual, doesn't he, at the wheel, does Jake Hill, then through the left-hander of St Mary's. So cleared the traffic. I'm sure he will be aware of who's around him, who he's in the battle with. He'll know the cars, he'll know the numbers, and he'll know the names, as we've got some more movement further down the field. The number 10 Ford there that had that bit of a wobble at the start. But Jake Hill, you can see him on your screen now, just over 14 minutes remaining. And he is trying desperately to make his way further forward. And I expect those that have not pitted should really box at the end of this lap.
Absolutely, because actually we're beyond the original time you're allowed to, but of course they've had to extend to that time. If anybody needs to come in, they will be coming in, but most of them have made their pit stops, so we shall see. Yeah, there you are, the BMW is coming in as we thought, so that is now making a stop. But up front, it is still Ash Sutton, as you said, because you'd said you'd seen that swap, as you pointed it out. It hasn't been registered for some reason on our TSL screen, but this car did make it stop. So this is the lead car. It was the car that Craig Davies did a great job with in the first part of the race. And Ash Sutton, touring car, multiple touring car champion, is now driving. They are in a good spot now, aren't they, Alice? Because he's in some clear space too.
Yeah, he is. He's obviously had no one in front of him, so free air in front of him, but he has got the super fast Fred Shepherd, that actually won this race. He crossed the line in first place last year, but a red flag rolled him back to second. It was Rob Huff that actually won the race, who's down in 10th place at the moment. So pit window is flashing open. It won't be open for too long, because it was near the edge, wasn't it, of when it was due to close. So only maybe 2 or 3 laps I expect the pit window to open. And as I said, Fred Shepherd is setting the world on fire. His purple in that middle sector, only a 1/10 and a half though quicker than Ash Sutton in the number 15, so he'll be desperately chasing down Ash Sutton, of course, who has had great success in touring cars. Steams across the line. We've got some traffic that will come out in front of these lead cars who have pitted, so that will hinder the likes of Jake Hill, who was hoping. He has got a bit of clean air, but he hasn't now due to the traffic.
No, that's right, and Jake is down in 9th position, so he's got a bit of work to do, see whether he can gain a bit more. The next one that Jake's going to be up against is Tom Kristensen, so you've got some real superstar drivers out there. A little bit of the damage to the BMW is just keeping out of the way now that they've done the swap over. So, now we're just hearing, so this was the pit stop. Yeah, that's what we thought. There was a pit stop. You saw that, Alice, so thanks for putting that out. If for some reason it didn't get registered on our timing screen, but that is the car that's now leading. So they've worked this well for now. Their gap, some 3.6 seconds. And then you've got a battle for 4th place going on here between the two Chevys, and this is proving to be good fun as well. Andy Prio and Gordon Shedden, so they're both house captains, and they're fighting against each other, going for those double points that a captain can earn.
Yeah, exactly, desperately trying to, and of course, they'll say, oh yeah, we're all friends, but we desperately want to win. No, they really want to win. Desperately times 10, of course. They're racing drivers, they're so competitive. So last time round it was Shepherd with the fastest lap. That's actually just been stolen by Ash Sutton, so 3.8 the gap, so it stayed fairly similar with just over 10 minutes remaining of this race. We've got the Cottingham branch car there in 5th place, who has set the fastest first sector, but continuous battles further down. The number 7 car having a great battle. That's the Young and Shedden car. It's the replica of James Hunt's 1973 Tour of Britain winner. The V8 underneath that car. As passing through the exit there is numerous cars, but also our drone on the exit of St Mary's.
Yeah, it's great fun. Gordon Shedden is really putting the pressure on in that battle for 5th place, 4th place in fact. And he was very quick through the first sector, so we shall see. In fact, he's got through, hasn't he? So, yeah, he is. Let's see, this is the overtake. So this is how Shedden did it. Let's have a look. What do you reckon?
Oh, brave on the brakes. How he managed to save that. Beautiful stuff. High speed there through St Mary's, and good driving as well from behind. And he is fast. He's looking fast, is Gordon. He can see the podium positions right in front of him, just up the road. So he is setting the world alight, but so is Ash Sutton. Almost going to stretch his legs, I would expect, this lap up the front. We'll wait to see as they cross the line now. 3.9, so only by 1/10 of a second.
Interestingly, Gordon Shedden is now going to be going after Dario Franchitti, another of the house captains, to try and get the extra points, and it's going to be crucial. So we've got some of the great battles of the star drivers here going up against each other in these Chevy Camaros. So this is all great fun to see how it all works out before the end of the race.
Yeah, so Andy Priaulx will have a great view of this battle going on the front. Gordon Shedden has set the fastest lap of the race. That's 0.3 of a second faster than the second fastest place driver on track, which is Ash Sutton. So we've got Jake Hill watch as well. Now he's up into 8th place, also setting some fast times. There you can see him on the exit of St Mary's. Now we hop on board with him too.
Yeah, he got past Kristensen, Tom Kristensen, a moment ago. So he's now going to be heading up against Ollie Bryant. I'm not sure that's the car actually ahead of him right now. I think it might be a little bit further ahead. Yeah, that's one of the Capris that's ahead of him. He's going to be up against, in terms of actual position, a Chevy Camaro is the next one. But there is obviously a little bit of a gap that he's got to close. It was quite a big gap last time they came around. It was only 6 seconds, so some work to do there. Yeah,
some work to do, but he gets nicely and smoothly past the Andrew Jordan and Simon Evans 75 Ford Capri. And he'll head down into the chicane. And how close does he get to the tyres? Not as close as some people. That's Andy Jordan there at the wheel of the car. And there we have one of the Fords has pulled out of the way, but it doesn't look very happy underneath that bonnet.
Oh no, that's steam pouring out of the Capri engine. What a shame that is. And is this going to create another safety car? The BMW has also pulled off to the side of the track. The car that was going well earlier with Nick Padmore. James Sadler now in the car, and that one has pulled over. I do wonder if this means there may have to be safety car.
Like a little bit of damage, sorry Ben, at the back of that BMW. So I wonder if they were, I couldn't tell whether they were fighting together. Just looks like the bodywork's pushed in ever so slightly, but maybe we will get a replay. Maybe there was no contact at all. But sorry Ben.
No, it's great. But this is the battle for third, and look at this, how close this battle for third place now is going between these Chevy Camaros. This is great stuff. So number 5, the red and white, that is currently in third place. That's Dario Franchitti, but it's Gordon Shedden, who we've seen making passes already, who is right behind him. So Gordon Shedden now is going to look for ways to get past Dario Franchitti. Oh, Dario, of course, so experienced at racing in America, as well as in the UK. And let's see if he's going to be able to fend off Gordon Shedden.
What a battle we've got between Franchitti and Shedden, the two captains, as you touched on, Ben, as they go storming down the straight. Franchitti's not going to want to make it easy at all. I'm sure they'll be nice and kind to each other, nice and clean. I hope I've just not commentator cursed that, but they'll know, the house captains as well. And it's, of course, as you said, fighting for that final spot on the podium.
Well, we shall see. Yeah, this is going to be fun to see what they can do. They may well actually be in the battle further up as well, but it is close. Gordon Shedden right on the tail now. So Gordon Shedden is captain of the Methuen house team. Dario Franchitti is captain of the Tumulton house team. So whatever stickers you've got on your passes today, you could decide who to cheer for, but Gordon is putting the pressure on here.
Yeah, he really is. Through Levant, not necessarily a corner you're going to try to get through. You're going to try and get a good exit, though, as you head down the long Levant straight, slightly uphill, sitting in the wheel tracks of Franchitti is Gordon Shedden. Is he going to have a little look down the inside? Franchitti covers the inside line ever so slightly. They're going to be wheel to wheel. Is Gordon Shedden going to try and get the cut back? Let's have a look. No, he doesn't. Is he going to have a look down the inside of the chicane? No.
I tell you what, when you're racing the drivers at this level, Dario knows exactly where to put the car at the moment. Even though Gordon's potentially got a little bit more pace in that machine of his, it's proving to be a little difficult for him at this point to actually get alongside. But we did see him pull off a remarkable move just a bit further round the lap. I wonder if he's going to do the same on the way into St Mary's.
Meanwhile, he's setting his personal best of the race, is Dario Franchitti. So Gordon Shedden hounding him from behind, clearly not putting him off. Of course, he's a professional, but still maybe dialing into the use. But here we go, Gordon Shedden down the inside at St Mary's, Ben.
Yeah, fantastic move. That is Gordon Shedden's area. He has done it. He's managed to get past Dario Franchitti in a superb move, and that has put him into a podium finish, in theory, if it all carries on as is at the moment. Shedden up into third place, getting past Dario Franchitti, and he will be very happy about that. But, oh, no, we've got another Capris off to the side of the track. So several cars now in stopping points. We've only got 4 minutes to go, and of course the yellow flags will indicate to everybody to just be a little bit careful. There is the race leader, car number 15, the car that Ash Sutton is currently driving, the multi-British touring car champion, who's doing a wonderful job, the 4 times champion. Started his career many years ago in Formula V, and now such an experienced racer. He's in a great position, and he's holding the gap to around 3 or 4 seconds constantly now. But as we've seen, Gordon Shedden is up into third position, but still in second place. Freddie Shepherd's holding on to that second place. I'm not sure he's going to get caught.
No, I don't think so. Gap's slightly too big in the closing stages of this race, but I'd be interested to know how that Sutton managed to sort of jump the Shepherd car, because I'm sure when they boxed, or at least they were around about, or when the pit window opened, should I say, they were probably around about second or third, if I've got that right. Davis obviously did a great job with making his way up, setting fastest lap after fastest lap, and we had that great battle as their dust being kicked up. That's not a pace you want to run too far wide before it can quickly all go wrong. That is a number 31 car, and Creo behind the wheel there.
Wonderful stuff. Alex Bamcombe is now in the number 60 Mini, the car being shared with Nick Swift, who was doing such a startling job earlier on, and it's still racing up against that Rover, which is fun to see. Yeah, Nick sleeps in the Rover now, so that's made a little bit of progress, I think, in this part of the race. We shall see how this goes. They're still a fairly long way down the list in terms of where they were earlier, but Nick Sleep now had taken over from Jamie Chadwick. Okay, this is what we're seeing, is actually the Mini getting past the Rover.
Able to be a bit more light, a bit more nimble, so able to brake a little bit later. I mean, that's a tendency you see with the Minis against these bigger beasts, is that they're just able to brake that little bit later, but of course then they haven't got the power down the straight to keep up. But Ash Sutton, the gap's come down ever so slightly, but of course Ash is a professional. He'll know how to manage a gap. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him, which depends on what part of the circuit you do happen to catch the traffic. Obviously the chicane is not the most ideal place, it's the worst place, unless you're brave enough to dive down the inside. So a little bit of traffic for him as he makes his way through Levant.
Further down the order, I noticed that Jake Hill, actually, here we are on board. That's good timing, because Jake has closed up after there was a big gap to some of the cars up ahead of him, but he is now beginning to get a little bit closer. The Chevy I mentioned that he was chasing has actually just got past the Rover that's up ahead. Tom Ingram is in that, number 19 Rover, 3.5 litre, so that's the car that's up ahead of him. You've got some top drivers here, of course. Ollie Bryant is now in 6th place, just up ahead in the Chevy. So on board with Jake as he comes down towards Woodcote Corner. Let's watch this. How much oversteer are we going to see?
Quite a lot, I expect. Let's have a look. There we go, nearly crossing his hands. And have we still got a yellow flag out down there? I tell if we do, I think we have, so no moves will be able to be made down into the chicane. We've still got that car on the side of the road there. So he's got Tom Ingram in front of him, who's got a little bit of smoke coming out the side of that car, possibly, unless it's just my eyes. But we often see these two have incredible battles in touring car, and it does look like there is a little bit of smoke coming out of the car there, doesn't it?
It does. I hope it makes it to the end. This is definitely looking a bit smoky. but Jake may have a chance to put on the attack on this, what is effectively the last lap. The race time is ticking away. We are on the final lap of this race pretty much, or in fact it goes to 0 and then we'll be on to the final lap. So we shall see how it all comes together, but Jake is definitely putting the pressure on, and this is making life pretty difficult for Tom. There is our race leader then. So Ash Sutton still in control. It's come down a little bit more. 2.4 seconds last time they came around, so he added about 3 or 4 seconds for a while. It's now down to 2.4 seconds, and Freddie Shepherd is still holding on to that excellent second position for now. But it is all looking very, very good indeed, even with a car off to the side there, as Ash Sutton comes over the line and takes the checker flag. Ash Sutton and Craig Davis take victory in the Gordon Spice Trophy here at Goodwood with a 2.6 second advantage over Freddie Shepherd and Timo Bernhard. We've got the battles further on, and Jake Hill still attacking, can't quite do it as he comes across the line, but he's had a great fun time. He ends up finishing in 8th position. The fight there is a nice smile on Jake's face, as we can see from the onboard picture. And Gordon Shedden and James Young, they got the, Jack Young rather, they got the 3rd place in the end. So double points for being a house captain for Shedden. That's going to be very useful. Remember, 250 points for the win, 180 points for 2nd, 150 points normally for 3rd, but because Shedden's the captain, that means he'll get 300 points. That's all very useful for his house.
Mini skipping, a 63 Mini skipping across the road there as the rest of the runners come across the line. So we've got a Mustang, Ford Mustang 1-2, and Gordon Shedden coming up there in the V8 Chevrolet Camaro in 3rd place. So what a race.